Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. We'll start in a couple of minutes.
Hello, madam. Okay, good afternoon to all. This is Shabir, PhD student working with Professor Vishwanath. Professor Vishwanath is in another meeting now. Maybe sir will join around 3. No, I think Pooja madam can continue this session. Madam, are you there? Hello. Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, madam. I think you can continue.
Okay,
Professor Vishwanath is in another meeting.
not a problem. But the participants are only 29. So shall I start?
Uh, Madam, we can wait for another 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes. Okay. I think we can start, and
Yes,
the
madam.
participants may
Maybe
join.
initial 5 to 10 minutes, you can recap what you have discussed yesterday.
Fine.
And also, please make sure that they have installed Python or Jupyter, any other medium through which they can do hands-on on this.
But I think for today and tomorrow they would be needing Collab itself.
Okay,
Because
madam,
for
fine.
tomorrow when we'll be doing on ML, then they need Collab only.
Okay, madam, fine.
Okay.
Please continue, madam.
Yes. So we started the Python sessions since yesterday, and we dealt with the different the structs of Python. We talked about what are the properties of Python, like it is an object-oriented language, it is an interpreted language, it is a command line interpreted language in which you can just write the command and you can get the execution and the answer for that command. And we also talked about the different the collectibles of Python, or you can call it as data structures, the list, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. And if you have any doubts or questions regarding that, then you can put it onto the chat box. If you tried doing some programs and you faced some problems, then you please let me know. We also talked about the different properties of lists, tuples, dictionaries, and sets. We said lists are mutable, that is, they can be changed, and they are ordered. There is a fixed order for all the lists. Then tuples are also ordered, but they are non-mutable. You cannot make any modifications onto the elements of a tuple. And we also studied, and we also checked, in fact, that if you want to make any modifications in a tuple, then we have to first convert it into a list, do the modifications, and in return again convert back to the tuple. So that is possible. It is an ordered, and duplicates are allowed in list and tuples both. Then we did dictionaries. Dictionaries had key value pairs, and they were unordered. And there was no, the duplicates were not allowed, and we were able to find out the keys, values, and items in dictionaries. Then sets were unordered. There was no fixed order for the sets, and duplicates were not allowed. So if you want to remove the duplicates from a list, you first need to convert it into a set, and then again convert it back to the list. The duplicates would be automatically removed. And such types of examples are always asked, and you can also ask it to your students as well if you are going to teach Python, that how you can remove the duplicates from a list, or how you can remove the duplicates from the tuples, and so on. So this is the best and the easiest way of doing it, the removal of the duplicates, convert it into a set, and then again return it back to the tuple. So again, I'm asking if there are any doubts or questions. If not, then we can start with NumPy, Pandas, and sklearn. These are the three libraries that we will be doing today. NumPy, Pandas, and sklearn, and they are very, very important libraries as far as machine learning algorithms are concerned. If you want to execute any machine learning algorithm using Python, then any at least one of these libraries will be definitely used. And in fact, in most of the cases, all the three libraries are used: NumPy, Pandas, and sklearn. And if you go one step ahead of it and you want to do deep learning, then TensorFlow and Keras are another two libraries which are used. So today we will do NumPy and Pandas and sklearn. So going to the same part, we'll go to Google Lab. And I've already written certain commands so that it makes the task a little easier. And it would be easier for you so that I can copy paste also and send it to you across, so you can do it directly. First of all, we'll have to import. Import is nothing but hash include. So as we do hash include, we do import in Python. So import NumPy as NP. What is as NP? You are giving an alias to NumPy. At NumPy, you don't have to write NumPy again and again in the future. You can just use NP. So I'm using a header file, which is known as NumPy, and I'm renaming it as, or you can say I'm using an alias as NP. I'm not exactly renaming it, but I'm using an alias as NP. So either I can use NumPy or you can use NP. Okay. Then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a NumPy array. First of all, why NumPy is used? NumPy is used for doing the numerical calculations and also forming arrays. So these are special types of arrays having some properties which don't exist with normal list tuples and dictionaries. So there are many functions that you can apply onto those arrays, which are predefined functions available in this file, in this NumPy file. NumPy is a header file, you can say, in terms of C++ and C. It's a header file, or in Java also we say import. It is the same way. We are using a header file and it has a lot of functions which you can use directly onto your arrays. So we say NumPy arrays are very powerful in the sense you can apply certain functions onto it. So first of all, you create a NumPy array like this. I'm copy pasting the codes that you can use it directly. A NumPy array and try to print it. I'll go a little slower today because yesterday I had to do a lot of things. I had to start Python and then complete list tuples and dictionaries and sets. So I was a little fast yesterday, but today I'll go on a normal pace so that the 3 libraries are included. And tomorrow we would actually execute machine learning algorithms, and I will also do the COVID data analysis. I will take a COVID data and do the analysis of that data using different machine learning algorithms. Okay. So I have created a NumPy array like this, and if you want, you can print the type of it as type of X, and it will say it is a NumPy n-dimensional array. It says ND array. ND array means NumPy n-dimensional array. Okay. If you have done till here, can you please let me know onto the chat box that you have been able to import the NumPy library and you have tried executing the sentences? Okay, thank you. Then I already have a list. I can convert this list into a NumPy array by using this statement. As array. As array is a function which is used to convert a list to a NumPy array. So you take any list and you convert it into a NumPy array. Only array np.array function is used in which you want to convert an array to a NumPy array. And if you want to convert a list to a NumPy array, you will use the function as array. You can convert a list into a float. So earlier the list was integers, and you can definitely convert it into a float NumPy array. So earlier it was an integer NumPy array, and now it is a float NumPy array. As array again is used as a function to convert it into a float NumPy array. Shape is a command which is used to give the dimensions of the array. So it says it is a one-dimensional array with 3 columns. So it gives you the shape dimensions of the array. And if I don't know what this command is all about, I can just give a question mark and it will tell you what this command is. So it is telling you what is np.array. So it's basically a help function. Just give a question mark with the name of the command or name of the function, and you will get this. Then I can also have a double dimensional array like this. The double dimensional array, every row would be separated by comma. So each row would be inside one square bracket and separated with commas. So this is basically a double dimensional array, and then you can go ahead and print it. A double dimensional array, so the first row would be of 1, 2, 3, and the second row would be 4, 5, 6. Now, since it is a double dimensional array, so slicing and extracting a particular element is a little tricky. So let's import numpy as np. Okay, and then let's do this and print x. Okay, now suppose I want to access 2. How will I access 2? I'll simply say 0th row, first column. 2 is accessed. Okay, suppose I want to access 6. So 0th row, first row, and which column? 0, 1, 2. So it will be 1, 2. X 1, 2. It should print 6. Yes. Now suppose I want 5 and 6. So the first, if I say x, so the first this index would be the row. So first row, that is a 0 and 1, first row. And which are the 2 columns that I need? Starting from 1 and 2. So I can simply say 1, 1, 2, 3. Or I can do it like this also. So 5 and 6 would be printed. Correct? Now, can anybody tell me how to print 2 and 5 using slicing? Yeah, you go ahead and print 2, 3, 5, 6. How can we print 2, 3, 5, 6? 2, 3, 5, 6 is fairly easy. Can anybody tell me how to print 2, 3, 5, 6? I want to print 2, 3, 5, 6. First row, second column, and the third column for both the rows. Can anybody tell me? I'm waiting for the answer. Anybody? Not getting? Why? First row, second row. How to get the first row and the second row? 0 is 2. 2. First row, second row. Yes. And I want the second and the third column. Second and the third column means 1 is 2. 2, 3, 5, 6. First row, second column, third column. Or I could have written it over here as 3 also. That will also work. 2, 3, 5, 6. Now suppose I want only 2 and 5. 2 and 5. Got it? So in this way, you can access any element you want, any set of elements also you want. And this is very much required because if you have a complete data set, if suppose I have an Excel sheet, I have a complete Excel sheet with a lot of values in it. I have this much Excel sheet like this. Okay. I have so many rows and so many columns. So I have somewhere around 10, 11, 12, 13 rows, 13 columns and 16 rows. So if I have such a huge structure and I want, suppose, these elements, so there should be a way in which I can get these elements only. So with the help of such slicing, I can access any element which I want. So what will be the complete process? The complete process is I have this data set. I'll first convert it into a pandas data frame, in which I'll take a particular data frame of the complete data set using pandas, and then using NumPy, I will try to access only these elements. But I'm talking about a huge data set. Okay. Which code you are saying, Naveen sir? Which code do you want? It's nothing. You just write it there. What is to copy paste here now? Try it out. Shabir sir, is it possible that you can take a Google form and get the attendance done once and for all?
Hi, madam.
Is it possible that you get a Google form filled for the attendance?
Yeah, it's possible, ma'am.
Because this is very confusing, because every time I'm opening the chat box thinking that there is a doubt, and actually the people are entering their names.
Okay. Yeah, madam. I'll create a Google
Yes.
form and I'll take that in it. Maybe for the next session also. Hello.
Is it audible, sir, now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think there was some problem with the network. Yes. So I was just trying to tell you that if it is possible, please take a Google Doc. So it will be easy for you also to record the attendance. You will have it in one Excel sheet.
Yes, madam.
Thank you. So I was just asking you, I was just telling you that if I have an Excel sheet and I want to access a particular element, I can do that. I'll be sharing this file with you all. Please mute your mics because I am listening my echo. Thank you. Then there is another command which is used to have an array with all zeros. All zeros. So it is a 4 cross 5 array, numpy array with all zeros. Similarly, I can also have it with all ones. Instead of zeros, you write ONES, ones. So you will get an array of all ones. Or I can also have an identity matrix in which all diagonals are 1. The complete diagonal are 1. Like this. So why do we need all these? For the calculations and for some manipulations, you will need such types of arrays in which it is all zeros or all ones or an identity matrix. And this is very important and it is used many a times is a random matrix. I want to create a random array of 4 cross 5. So it takes random dot random is the function which is used, which creates a two-dimensional random array. A 4 cross 5 two-dimensional random array. So I can do it like this and say print x. So it will print random values from 0 to 1 like this. It will print random values from 0 to 1. Now I am giving you a task in which I have to take random values from 20 to 30, 20 to 40. Give me the command to take the random values from 20 to 40 and not 0 to 1. How can I do that? Can anybody tell me how to take the values, random values from 20 to 40 and not 0 to 1? If you want, you can search it on Google and then let me know. I've switched off my camera because the video takes a lot of data, so that we don't get any internet connectivity issues in the future. So I've just switched off my camera. Can anybody tell me how to take the values from 20 to 40? The question that I have asked. Sir, Ajit Singh sir, this is going to have a 20 cross 40 array. It will make 20 rows and 40 columns. Try doing it. I'm saying I want the values between 20 and 40. See what it is going to do. It will have 20 rows and 40 columns. I didn't want this. See, all the values are from 0 to 1. I want the values from 20 to 40. All these values are from 0 to 1. See, e to the power of minus 1 is the exponential. I want the values from 20 to 40. That means 30, 40, 39, 25, 26, like this. Yes. Or you can say rand range. Yes. So this is the answer. What it is going to do is, it will print any value between 20 to 40. Rand int. When you say rand int, so it will take one value. What I am saying is, I want to have values between 20 to 40, and the array should be 3 cross 4. Ma'am? Kumkum Bala ma'am. First, write out at your end and then give me the answer. Rand range is fine, but give me the exact command for it. No one? Okay. I'll leave it to you as an assignment then in that case. I'm not going to give you the answer for sure. X dot T is the transpose. I can find out the transpose of a matrix by writing dot T. And then I can also reshape a matrix. Like here I have taken 3 cross 4 matrix as X. It was a 2 cross 3 matrix, 2 rows and 3 columns. So, and the number of elements are 6. I can go ahead and do the reshape of it. X dot reshape, and I can say 6 comma 1. The number of elements cannot change. The number of elements will remain the same as it is. Acha, I have changed the value or what? Okay, I have changed the value. So the number of elements should remain 6 only. I had used 20 cross 40. So that is why it is giving me an error. So now this can be done. Okay, I had used X here as 20 cross 40 here.
Madam, present your screen.
My screen is... Oh, बाप रे, कब से नहीं हो रही है?
Maybe 2-3 minutes.
Acha, then it is fine. Okay. So if you see here, this np.random.random was, I had already done that 20 cross 40. So this had 800 elements. If I want to reshape this to 6 cross 1, it is not possible. I cannot modify the number of elements. So that is why it gave me an error here. But if I do it for 6 cross 1, it will definitely work. Or I can go ahead and have 1 comma 6. That is also going to work. Okay, but if I say 1 comma 7, it will give me an error because there are no 7 elements. There are only 6 elements. So reshape will reshape it into the same number of elements, but different rows and different columns. Okay. Yes, Anandita ma'am. Perfect. This is how you are going to do it, Anandita ma'am. So let's make it a little smaller one. 4 cross 5. Oh, sorry. 20 cross 40. See, now you get the values between 20 and 40. Why I am doing so? Because many a times you need a range of values and you want to have random numbers between that range only. So this is very much required in this case. If you want to make a program for Tambola, isn't it? So if you're making a program for Tambola, in that case, you would have to have a range 1 to 90. Your number should be always 1 to 90. So in that case, you're going to use this command, this function. So reshape, then I can have an array of natural numbers from 0 to 4. by using arrange syntax, arrange function. So I'm just copy pasting it over here so that you can try it out. Arrange function. And then I can perform the different calculations on different two matrices, A plus B, A minus B. A is not defined, so I have not executed this. A plus B, A minus B, A multiplied by B. And this multiplication can be done only if the columns of the first is equal to the rows of the second. That is the normal rule that is followed in multiplication of two matrices. So the same rule of matrix multiplication will go here also. The rows of the first should be equal to the columns of the second. The columns of the first should be equal to the rows of the second. I can add a number, A plus 1. I can do that. And similarly, I can find out the floor, the ceiling. I can do the inner product and the outer product of the matrices. These are the simple things that we do dot product. And now we come to the important concept of sum. Sum is quite useful in the sense I want to find out the sum. G is equal to sum of a matrix. Sum of a matrix. A dot sum. So K dot sum of the matrix like this. And let's print G like this. Now if I want to print it, I want a summation row wise or column wise. That can also be done. So in that case, what I can do is I can write K dot sum axis is equal to 0. So this does it 3, 6, 3, 5, and you see 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it does it like this, column wise. It does the summation column wise. And if its axis is equal to 1, then it does row wise. Like this. So you can find out the sum row wise and column wise by giving the axis is equal to 0 or axis is equal to 1. And when I say this, so you can do most of the operations like this. Either you want it column wise or you want it row wise. So most of the things can be done with this. Okay, so you can do the addition of the matrix row wise or column wise. Got it? Any doubts? Any questions still here? I can also find out the max of a matrix. And again, I can do this row wise or column wise. So I can simply say K dot max axis is equal to 0. So it will give me the maximum values in this 39, 34, 38, then 35, 37, like this. And if I say axis is equal to 1, it will give me row wise. Here, the maximum value of this, the maximum value of this, the maximum value of this. If axis is equal to 1. So if axis is equal to 1, the maximum value is 36. Here it is 36. Clear? I hope you people are doing this. Kindly let me know if you are doing it and you are able to do the sum and the maths. Great. Then we come to an important library, another important library, which is pandas. For this, I need to share two data sets. Oh, so sorry, I forgot to send the data sets beforehand. I'm doing it right now. I will be using one for this and the other one will be the for tomorrow, the COVID data set. So I'm sharing both those data sets with you all. And for sklearn, I don't think I need any data set. Yeah, for that I don't need any data set. So I'm just sending this file to you all, mobile_clean.csv, so that you can also try it out at your end. Shabir sir, should I send it to you only? To your email ID?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir, I have sent it to you. Can you please share it with your with the participants?
Sure.
All the participants.
Yeah, I got your file.
Okay. Please share it with all the participants.
Done, madam.
Received? So what you are supposed to do is, you can see once you have received it, please let me know once. If you get the file, please let me know. Shabir sir, have you sent it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. If anyone, if you people receive it, then let me know so that I can proceed further. And I'll tell you how to upload that file onto Colab. Yeah, mobile.csv data only at the moment. So what you are supposed to do is, if you see here, you see a small box here, a small rectangular box. You click on that rectangular box and then upload the mobile._csv file. Wherever it is stored, you give the location of that file. Like for me, it is stored at workshop mobile underscore clean.csv. Yeah, like this. So as soon as you do that, you would be able to see the file present here. Upload it onto Collab. Once you have done this, please let me know. Once you are able to upload this file, let me know. Done. Upload it onto Collab. And now you can import the pandas as PD. So pandas is another library which is used, and it is imported as PD is the alias given to it. And then I am creating a data frame. What is a data frame? Is basically a screenshot. Screenshot, the data shot, you can say. I should not say screenshot, but the data shot. So a frame of the data. So it will create a data frame out of the complete data that you have and convert it into a pandas data frame. And there you can apply the different functions of the pandas library. If you see this file, it is a simple file. It is a simple CSV file. CSV is comma separated values. CSV, comma separated values. So it is a simple file with a lot of columns and a lot of rows. So it has 40 columns and somewhere around more than 100 rows. If you go at the bottom, it has 110 rows. Basically, it has 109. The first row is for the column names. So it has 109 rows and 40 columns. And the last column is basically the prediction. What is that prediction? You are predicting that on the basis of the various features of mobile, whether it has FM or not, number of revolutions, autofocus, front camera, flash type, and so on the basis of these features, you are saying that it would be liked by the people or not. Is liked. You are actually going for a logistic regression, and in which you are telling that whether it would be a classification problem. You can say it is a classification problem and giving it to you as 0 or 1. If it is liked, it is 1. If it is not liked, it is 0. And on the basis of various parameters. So these parameters are used to train the model and then predict the future. That is what is done in machine learning algorithms. You predict, you first train the model on the basis of a number of parameters. So they are 40 in fact 39 parameters. On the basis of these 39 parameters, you are training the model. And on the basis of these parameters, then you are predicting that whether it would be liked by the people or not. Got it? So what is my task? My task is to train the model on these parameters and predict that whether this mobile is. So what exactly happens is, so I'm training this model onto this data set. So I have to first divide it into 80-20 rule. 80% of this data would be used for training and 20% will be used for testing. Once suppose these rows are used for testing, and for these rows I will do the prediction. Suppose for this row, for this 93rd row, I predicted I'll just increase that you can see. Suppose for this 93rd row, I predicted a 0. So accuracy is 100%. I predicted a 1, 1, 1. Accuracy is 100%. I predicted a 1. So accuracy decreased. 0. Accuracy decreased further. 0. Accuracy decreased further. And once the accuracy is less, I would say a threshold. For me, 90% accuracy is the threshold, for example. So if it is less than that, then it will again fine tune. It will again model. It will again train the model. And it will do on continuously until and unless I get an accuracy of suppose 94% or 95%. Okay. Machine learning models never get an accuracy of 100%. It can get an accuracy of 99.999%, but never 100%. Because these are all probability models. And probability models very, very, very rarely get a 1. And if it is getting a 1, then it seems that some fishy is there, somewhere something is wrong. So you can get an accuracy of 99.23, but not 100%. These are all probability models, probabilistic models. Okay, so 80% of the rows are used for training and 20% of the rows are used for testing. And if you can, if you do have another set of data, if suppose I have another set of new data, then on that I can predict the model. If suppose I have another set of data, it says the values are something like this for all the 40 columns, and then I can say on the basis of this, on the basis of the model that I have trained, I say it should be 1. It should be 1. This is a prediction. And on this 80-20 rule, 80% was used for training, 20% was used for testing. And then I am doing the, in fact, 20% is validation, and this is basically the testing. Validation is whatever the model has been trained is validated, whether it is correct or not. I hope all those things have already been covered in your theoretical sessions of machine learning. Validation, verification. Jasmine ma'am, what is not understood? Let me know.
Madam, it took time to download and upload that CSV file.
Ma'am, I have not started as yet. I have not started. I was just trying to explain you the file.
Yes, ma'am.
I have not started anything on the file at present.
Okay, ma'am.
I was explaining you how the 80-20 rule works. So the 80-20 rule says 80% of the data will be used for training and 20% will be used for validation. And once your model is trained and validated, then you can test it onto the new data set. Then you can actually test it on the new data set. Okay, so I was just saying that probably you must have done all these parts in your theoretical sessions. What is validation? What is testing? What is verification? Is it done?
No, ma'am, it's not done.
Achha. Machine learning is done. Now you know the 80-20 rule. Training, testing. Yes, you know that. Okay. No. Some no's and some yes. Not done. Okay. If it is not done, then I'll have to cover it a little bit. Whenever you are applying the machine learning model, these are the steps that you need to have. Solving a machine learning problem. Whenever you are solving a machine learning problem, you have to go through these 7 steps. First is define the objective in which you are supposed to give the task, what you are supposed to do. What is your objective? Then you gather the data. You get the data. A very common site through which you take the data is kaggle.com. Okay? You take the data from kaggle.com and you prepare the data in the form which you actually need. Then you do the data exploration and build the model. Build the model that is what I was trying to tell you, train the model. So define the problem statement. Suppose my problem statement is the classification of an image. You have some images of dogs and you have some images of cat. So your task is to identify the cat, the class of the image. So what will be the data for it? Images of cats and dogs, of course, sets of images. And then on the basis of the data, if it is annotated and not annotated, if it is labeled, means annotated means it is labeled. If it is labeled, then you will apply a supervised learning technique. And if it is not labeled, you will apply an unsupervised learning technique. I hope all this has been covered. Unsupervised and supervised. So if it is a labeled data, you will go for supervised technique. And if it is unlabeled data, you will go for unsupervised technique. So once this is done, Then you prepare the data. If suppose you have a data set in which some of the rows are the rest of the values, or you'll take a mode of this values, whatever. So you take care of the missing values, redundant values, duplicate values. This is all data preparation. So as I was showing you the mobile_clean.csv file, so it may had happened that one of the columns or one of the cells are empty. So you will have to fill the data at that place. Analysis is incomplete in incomplete data. You cannot do the analysis if the data is not complete. Okay. So once that is done, then you do the exploratory data analysis. You find out the hidden patterns in it. You can either plot a pie chart, or you can plot a histogram. So do you get just a feel of the data, how the data is changing? And then you actually train the model. Train the model is you fine tune your parameters like this. You fine tune your parameters. So you have your desired output. What is your desired output? Since I'm going for validation, so validation is the correct output. Then on the basis of the correct output, let me show you. You have the CSV file. So if you see the CSV file, at the time of the training, I know the output. This is my output. This is my output. I know the output. On the basis of this output, I'm going to fine tune these parameters. These are my parameters. So I'm learning it. That if it is aperture is 12, then it is 1. If GPU rank is 55 and aperture is 12, I like it. If the weight is 155 and GPU rank is 55 and aperture is 12, then I like it, and so on. So like this, I'm learning it. So I will learn it for the 80 rows, and for the next 20 rows, I'll check myself. That is known as validation. I'll check myself that whatever I learned is correct or not. Many times when your kid goes for a speech competition, so you give him the speech and he mugs it up. Okay, he learns it. Once he has learned it, then he will do it in front of you. He will say that speech in front of you and check that whether he is speaking it correctly or not. So he will give the speech to you in writing, the paper to you, and he will ask you that check whether I am saying it correctly or not. Suppose it is a poem recitation competition. So he would learn the poem and then give the poem to you. And then he will recite and then ask you whether he is reciting it in the correct format or not. Isn't it? So this is known as validation. Validation, whatever I have learned is correct or not, is done with the help of validation. Once that validation is over, then there would be the actual day on which your recitation is there. The speech competition is there, or the poem recitation is there. That is your testing, because that is the day in which you are going to be tested by your principal, in which you will be marked on your speech or on your poem, isn't it? So on this day, I would say that, okay, these are my properties. This is my flashlight. This is my data backup. This is my battery backup. Are you going to like the mobile? This is testing. So now you got to feel what is training, validation, and testing. Okay, so 80-20 rule is used, but generally we call it as testing, but actually for a computer engineer, it is validation. For a layman, it is training and testing. We do the evaluation of the model on the basis of various parameters. I can go for a overfitting and the underfitting of the model. I'm not going to deep into all this because I assume that it is either already covered or it will be covered in the due course of time in another 2 days of your workshop. So I am not going to cover this all in detail. Assuming that it would be covered, underfitting and the overfitting of the model, the complexity.
It is covered already, madam.
Perfect. So underfitting and the confusion matrix, like these are the different evaluation measures by which you can evaluate your model. And this is what I was trying to tell you, the validation, the training set and the validation set. Okay. And then you test it. So that is what we are going to do in our model also. So first we'll import the pandas dataset, convert it into a data frame so that we can actually apply the different functions. If you say df.head, it will give you the first 5 rows, the first 5 rows of your dataset. Okay. And then you can also find out the type of df. These are all the commands which we have already done yesterday. Type and head is the command which is a data frame, the pandas command, which is used to find out the first 5 rows of the data frame. Tail gives you the last 5 rows of the data set. .loc will give you the location, the details of one particular row. I will share this code with you so that you can try it out at your own end. I've already sent you the file mobile_clean.csv, and I'll be sharing this code. So you just have to try it out and check it that whatever we have discussed today in the session is actually being done or not. Okay, so I'll be sharing the code with you, and then you can check it out onto your data set. .loc. Then short is used if you want to have only some of the rows. I don't want all the rows to be analyzed. I want only the rows from 10 to 30. So I can use this. And then I can find out the shape of it, that how many rows are there and how many columns are there. So it says it has 20 rows and 40 columns because I have chosen only 20 rows. Earlier there were 109 rows, but I have chosen only 20 rows out of it. Any doubts still here? Okay. Just close it. Then this is used to give those number of columns. So here I was finding out the rows. I was taking only some of the rows, and here I am taking only some of the columns, like this. And what is this? I have filtered on some of the columns, or filtered on is liked, and I am taking only those rows for which is liked is equal to 1. And then I'm finding out the shape of it. So what it says, the shape is 92 cross 5. Oh, I have not executed the previous column, so that is why it is giving me an error. df.head, loc is not required, df.short, and df.thin. And I am taking another variable. This is simply a variable. It's nothing else. So I'm taking a variable and putting all the rows for which is liked is equal to 1. So basically, it is a set of all the mobiles which are liked by the people. 92 cross 5. So there are 92 rows with 5 columns. Why only 5 columns? Because I have shortened it. I have only standby time, expandable memory, price, and battery capacity. I have only these 5 columns. Then describe, it will describe that particular column. So what is the maximum value for that column? What is the 75% value of that column? The mean, the standard deviation, the count, and so on. Then I can also find the mean of the price of the rows for which is liked is equal to 1. So what I'm trying to find out? The average price of the mobiles which is liked by the people. This is nothing but the average price of the mobile which is liked by the people. Do you want to try, Jasmine, ma'am? The only thing is it will take a lot of time. Okay, you can do one thing. Just do this, import pandas as PD. Do this and do this. Execute these 2 statements once you have uploaded the file over here. Once you have uploaded the file over here, do these 2 commands and then try doing this. df short, which is taking only 20 rows, and df thin, which is taking only some of the columns. Yeah, I have copy pasted the code. Try it out. I'm waiting for a couple of minutes. Tried doing this? And then you can try it out. When which was I was saying that all the rows for which is like is equal to 1. Yes, Jasmine ma'am. If the internet is slow, then it will take some time. And this is the average price of those mobiles for which is like is equal to 1. And this is the average price of those mobiles for which is like is equal to 0. That means people don't like it. Then what is the average price? And if people like it, then what is the average price? So if you see from here, it is almost the same. It is almost the same. So people are not liking also a 19,000 mobile and not are liking also a 19,000 mobile because it is all user specific. I may like a phone which you may not like. So it is like that. Group by is nothing but the same as we do in SQL, group by. So it will make two groups, one with is liked as 1 and one with is liked as 0. So it will print all the values. What are this key and df underscore key? It is the two keys in the group by, and it is printing both the values like this. So it has 92 rows and 5 columns. For those it is 1 and for those it is 0. 1 and 0. I can also describe it, and so it will tell me that 17 are the mobiles which are not liked and 92 mobiles are liked. Then this is a simple indexing that we have already done yesterday. And now see this command very, very carefully. What is this? Is actually when I have this data set, this is my column, which is the prediction column, the one which is going to be predicted. So this has to be Y and this all has to be X. If you have done regression or you have done the details of any of the machine learning algorithm, so you always need to predict the Y on the basis of a lot of X. This is all X, multi-dimensional X, and you have a Y. So from this data set, you have to say Y is -1 and rest of it is X. So what it is doing is X is equal to I location. I log is a function of pandas, which says all the rows and all the columns except the last column. If you see, -1 is excluded. -1 is excluded. So it says all the rows, since it is only a colon, so all the rows, all the columns except the last column. Correct? All the rows, all the columns except the last column. And what would be the Y? The last column. If you see, all the rows and the last column. Then I can go ahead and print Y.values. So it will give me the values of the last column, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. This is my Y. And on the basis of this Y, I'm going to train my model. Correct? Is this understood, X and Y? Jasmine ma'am, it is quite easy. If you just go to kaggle.com, and find out any data set which you need. Suppose I want to have classification data sets. So you click on this, any one of them, and you can actually download the data set. Like yesterday only, I downloaded it for glaucoma. So I'll tell you that. Glaucoma dataset. And it will give you the option of downloading it. Yeah, download 4 GB of glaucoma dataset. So this entire dataset would be downloaded onto your own system. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. sklearn is another library which consists a lot of data sets. So in this case, you need not download any data sets. There are already many data sets, and you can just use those data sets for your reference. And it has the most important function, which is a test, train, and split. So as I was explaining you the 80-20 rule, 80% of the data which will go for training and 20% will go for testing. So that particular module, which actually divides the entire data set into two parts, lies with sklearn. Okay, so sklearn has a function, test, train, and split, which will split the entire data set into two parts, testing data set and training data set. And everything is done by this. You don't have to do anything in that case. So I'll first import the NumPy, Pandas, and sklearn. And there is a data set for breast cancer, in which it is predicting whether the person has cancer or not. Okay, so these are the two variables, data and target, which is again with the sklearn. And I'm trying to print these X and Y. What is data? Data is X and target is Y, which you are supposed to predict. Okay. I can find out the values, the shape of X and Y. So it says it has 569 rows and 30 columns. This is X. So it has 30 parameters on the basis of which you are going to train the model. And Y has only one because it is a logistic regression. Zeros or ones. If you see Y is what? 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So 0 means no cancer, 1 means has cancer. Okay. So this is a training set, and then I want to do the testing. So it has X.shape is 569 rows and 30 columns, and 569 rows, which one column? I have taken the data like this, data frame, pd.dataframe is a command which converts this entire sklearn data set into a data frame called data. Okay. And here in this case, I'm just saying that the target variable should be named as class. So if you see, the last column would be named as class. Yeah, the last column is named as class. Instead of target, I'm calling it as a class. That's it. The Y. See, data class. So the target variable is not now being named as class. Then I can describe the file. These are the different functions. Since I would be sharing this code, then you can try them out. I can count the number of values which are there in the class. So there are 357 ones and 212 zeros. So value underscore counts will only give you the total number of ones and total number of zeros. And what are the two target names? Malignant and benign. These are all functions of the sklearn dataset, especially for breast cancer. Okay. This is the thing that I was trying to tell you. This is the most important part. The train, test, and split. So what you are doing it over here is you are actually dropping the last column because that is the one which you are going to predict. And the class is being given as Y, the last part. As I showed you, the last part, the class. In this case. Yeah. This is the prediction, the Y, what you're going to predict. So X and Y are there. X is a data frame, pandas data frame, and this is the command which is used. You don't have to do anything. Jasmine ma'am, I'm already explaining each and every code.
Yes, ma'am, but
So
you are
this is the
little
command.
far.
Ma'am, this is not at all fast. The test, train, and split command is the one which actually splits your entire data set and divided into two parts, the training set and the testing set. Okay? Then there are different parameters that you can put in. There is another parameter which says test size. There is one parameter which says test size. Yeah. If test size is equal to 1, so it will go to a 90-10 rule. 90% will go for training and 10% will go for testing. If it is 0.2, by default it is 0.2. If it is 0.2, then 80% will go for training and 20% will go for testing. Clear? And if you check this, if it is a normal rule, if it is a normal case, train, test, and split. So this is the total X train. This is the testing data, and this is the training data, and this is the testing data. Y shape, Y train shape, Y test shape. So what you are printing is, these are the total number of rows, 569 rows, out of which 512 rows are used for training and 57 rows are used for testing. Clear? 512 rows are used for training and 57 rows are used for testing. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. 512 and 57 would be for 90-10 rule. Like this. So if it is 80-20 rule, it would be 426 and 143. If it is 90-10 rule, it will be 512 and 57. Clear? And these are the commands for application of any machine learning algorithm. Either I can apply a linear regression. This is the only command which is used. Before than that, all this was actually preparation of the data. This was all preparation of the data. Once the preparation of the data is done, you can actually apply a model by simply writing this. From sklearn, linear model import linear regression, and you are predicting the Y like this. This is your Y prediction on the basis of your training model. I can plot a graph for it, and the graph would be plotted on the basis of testing data and predicted data, whether your predictions are correct or not on the basis of your test data. So Y underscore test and Y underscore predict. So prediction and testing. So if you see, it is not much of a difference. The loss is quite less. The error is quite less. There is not much of a difference between Y test and Y predict. They are almost the same. So your model is running on very, very nicely. Don't have much of errors. Or you can have a Gaussian network onto this and predictions. Any data set, whichever you feel like. This is linear regression. So you can apply any model. The only line is to change is this. Instead of linear regression, you have logistic regression. Instead of logistic regression, you have SVM. And you may have some parameters inside this bracket. That's it. That is only going to change. Okay? Okay, I'm still getting the attendance. Kindly please let me know if you have any doubts. %90 of the chat is the attendance. Any doubts? Any questions? Jasmine ma'am? Anything which is not understood? Okay, that's lovely that there are no doubts. So in this way, you can apply the sklearn data sets and pandas and NumPy. I would be sharing this code today itself with Shabir sir. Try it out, because tomorrow we would be applying the machine learning algorithms. We'll be taking a data set and we'll be doing it. That will give you a more experience. As what Jasmine was saying, that it is going on a little fast. So tomorrow you will get a second chance to actually apply your machine learning algorithm onto a different data set. Okay? So try it out today and be prepared for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be also using NLTK, the Natural Language Toolkit, for natural language processing. Okay? No other doubts or questions? If not, then we can end the session.
See, if there are no questions, then I request, since we have time, I request Pooja madam to share your research experiences with the participants, because I can see there are some young faculty and even there are experienced faculty. You can share your research experiences.
As in, what do you want to have?
Maybe as part of your PhD,
Okay.
have you gone through your problem statement and so on?
Okay. Okay. So currently, I'm working on machine learning models itself, and my core area goes with natural language processing. Natural language processing is basically identifying the language which is spoken naturally, Hindi or English. So if you want to speak to a computer, and if you are able to speak in your own native language, it's nothing like it. So natural language processing talks about in which you can speak in English to the computer. But there are many challenges. There are many challenges like synonyms, homophones, and then word sense disambiguations. So these are the challenges, because even if the syntax is correct, then also the semantics may change. The meaning of the sentence is changed. Many times you see that the people are saying there was a communication gap. So communication gap is basically you were not able to identify the meaning of the sentence. And if the computer has to do it, then it has to be done automatically. And there are various ways of doing it, various algorithms which are involved. And still, it's an open field in Hindi and other regional languages. In Hindi also a lot of work is done, but still Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, very, very less work is done, very less. You would hardly find some 10 to 12 papers of natural language processing on these languages. So these are open fields. If somebody is looking for a PhD research area, then these are very good areas, natural language processing, because very few researchers are working on on the regional languages of the country. Hindi and English, many people have already, English is by far almost done, because if you see Alexa is an example of natural language processing, so it is almost done. But yes, if you want to speak in Bangla to Alexa, it's not possible. So a lot of things needs to be done in those, and data sets are also not available, which is a very big problem in the case of NLP. Machine learning, as I was discussing today, NumPy, Pandas, and sklearn. I have seen always people use existing codes to analyze. Ajit Singh, I didn't get your question. I have seen always people use existing codes to analysis. If you are using an existing code, it can never be a research. It can never be a research. It can only be a practice session. So if you're using an existing code, so it's basically you are trying an algorithm onto a data set. That's it. It cannot be a research. Research has to be new. So you have to write a data, write your program on your own. The maximum that you can do is you have suppose 20 functions in your data in your program. You can use 10 existing functions. That can be done. But the rest of the 10 functions you have to write. And gone are the days, it was some 5 years back when people used to apply a machine learning algorithm onto a data set and publish a paper. Now that is not working anymore. That is just application of machine learning onto a data is not going to work. You will not be able to publish a good paper on it. You have to come up with something related to optimization or related to changing, as I told you, fine-tuning the parameters. So you have to come up with certain measures in which you can fine-tune your parameters. Because as I mentioned, test, train, and split is a function which is going to do your task. So there is nothing left now. It is already done by the computer. What are you going to do with? That is you have to mention in your paper, in your research paper. I think that's it from my side, sir. Lots of speaking.
If there are no questions from the participants, let us thank the speaker for such an interactive session. Hope tomorrow's session also be very interactive.
Yes,
Madam,
sir.
one last thing before closing the session. For tomorrow's NLTK session, whether anything has to be installed.
No, we'll do it on collab only.
Okay, fine, madam. Then if there are no questions, we can close this session.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you all the participants for your time and patience. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.